Let's talk about Tulane playing against Army. I mean, this line's under a touchdown. This line opened at 4, got that up to 6 for good reason. Okay, Tulane is a damn good football team. I know that they lost last week to Memphis. Okay, but Memphis, week in and week out, when you look at what they do offensively, when they string together a couple stops, Seth Hennigan, Mario Anderson, Rock Taylor, whomsoever that they have on that offensive side of the football, they're going to score points on you. Okay, if they're forcing turnovers and getting stops, weird stuff happens. All right, that's fine. So Tulane was knocked out of playoff contention. All right, that does not mean that they're not playing for an American championship right now. I mean, they're in this. All right, to win this. Army obviously is playing for a lot as well. Army's also only played 11 games this year. Army has ran the ball pretty much better than anyone in the entire country. But when Army played against their first kind of stingent defense of the year, they struggled and got rocked. Now, they did put up some points. There were times when Bryson Daly was able to move the football, but it was just Bryson Daly. I like Tulane in this spot. I think John Summerall's a fantastic coach. I think that their defense is very, very solid. I know that they just got by Memphis, but and when I'm looking at their schedules, right, I also think Tulane's defense and Army's defense, metrically, you're looking at them like, oh my God, these are top 15 defenses. They both benefited from pretty not good schedules. So if I'm going to talk bad about Army's defense and with regards to the schedule, I think Tulane's metrics are also impacted by that as well. You look Louisiana, put in work against Tulane, but that offense also put in work against everyone. Oklahoma put in work. Kansas State put in work against that defense. So there is a world in which Army can move the football against this defense. It's not impossible, right? And I think that they just might. Okay, but I also think that Tulane's offensive line and their running back, Mekhi Hughes, just might be physical enough to outlast this Army defense. And when Army's trying to control the football, Tulane just might say, no, 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 we're going to control the football. We're going to be the ones running the ball down your throats, and we're going to be the ones trying to find a way to win this football game. I would be severely impressed. Like, I don't think like we can talk about the fact that Army's in this game right now is pretty remarkable. Okay, to me, that's remarkable. The fact that Army's playing for an American Conference Championship. If they win this game, that would be unbelievable. You're talking about a one-loss season where they win the American Conference Championship. I get that their schedule isn't good enough to make it to the college football playoffs, but holy cow, would that be awesome?
It really would. You said it. I think the interesting part you brought up metrically about these two defenses, a stat I like to look at in different people have different things, but just opponent adjusted offensive and defensive efficiency. You look at Army and Tulane offensively, opponent adjusted. Doesn't matter who they're playing. It's kind of like scaled, normalized, whatever. They're both in the top 25, which is very, very impressive. Defensively, like you said, they move more towards the middle there. Army's down at 63. Tulane is a little bit higher at 43. That's a great point there. I like Tulane in this spot. Obviously, would love to get them at 4. But we're picking them up. We pick them at 6 right now. Is that what?
Picking them at 6, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take the 6 because I do think a touchdown, anything on a touchdown, I still like Tulane. And I like them pretty good, I'm not going to lie. But it'll be interesting because we'll see how Tulane responds. They did have, the long week, which is great. Although I think Army as well, they had a couple weeks to get ready for this, which was, I think beneficial for the. Actually, no, I'm sorry. They played 11 games because they have Navy next week. But yeah, so they played UTSA, and it's actually a pretty close game there. It'll be interesting to see. They did dominant time possession. Very good for them. But yeah, so I don't know. I like Tulane in this spot. -6. You said all the good reasons for it. I do think also like third down. I look at third downs like so important in these read option type teams. Third and fourth down, like they usually are so good. But if you can stop them and stop them early in their drives, you really have a chance to go up early and potentially, put this game out of reach or put Army in spots that they don't want to be at. A la Notre Dame did that twice to Navy and Army as well. Tulane is second in the American in opponent third down conversions. That's got to be huge. They have to be stingent in that when it does matter on third and fourth down. But Army, on the other hand, they're not very good at getting off the field too. So if you can get off the field early, if you're Tulane, you can really stop, Bryson Daly in that offense and make them be in a spot they don't want to be or aren't comfortable being. That could be huge. As well as if you're controlling time possession, right? You're second, or if you're taking them off third down conversions, or you're getting extending plays on or extending drives on your third downs, it'd be huge, huge. And Makai's so good.
Yeah, but like you said, like Army, they don't waste a lot of opportunities. They're unbelievable on third down. They're great on fourth down. They're great in the red zone. They're not penalized at all. In fact, they're 38 penalty yards per game, which is like top 10 in the entire country. They don't really make those mistakes. And you did see Tulane, okay, beat the absolute snot out of Navy, but you did see Blake Horvath go down in that game pretty early. And I don't think it's doing either offense justice to just compare Navy to Army's offense. I think they have similar aspects to them, right? They're similar formations, but they're different. All right, they are different. But the fact that Tulane absolutely pissed on Navy does give me confidence in their ability to make adjustments to an offense like this. So yeah, I'm with you. I like Tulane in this spot, and I see the Army angle, right? If someone was to tell me, yeah, I kind of like Army +6, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I'll say for sure that Tulane won't be on my best bets, but I could definitely see I could see both angles there for sure. I just happen to like Tulane more when we're just picking these games straight up. If you're trying to compare apples to oranges here, I like the apples.
This, by the way, real quick, it's in New York, right? So it's going to be at West Point. So this is not a neutral site. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you mentioned this is not a neutral site out of conference game. The American doesn't have that site, so it's going to be in Army will be home, which is part of the reason why that line, is maybe where it's at, as well as, Tulane had a chance to beat Memphis last week to clinch home field advantage for them, but they did not. So Army gets it. They're undefeated in conference. Hell of a year for them. So they get to host the American Conference Championship.
Which is nuts. Although Army, they didn't have
But
to play. Did they even play? Did they play Memphis?
they didn't play Memphis. They didn't play
They didn't play
Memphis, nor
Tulane.
they haven't played Navy yet either.
Well, yeah, I mean they play them next
They
week,
play
right?
exactly. But the interesting part too is a lot of people talk about SMU coming in the ACC, and then Oregon and Texas coming in the Big Ten and the SEC. This is Army's first year in the American, by the way. I know the American is a
Yeah,
different conference today than it was just a couple years ago, but I still think that's really, really impressive. And hats off to the American for going out and finding Army and getting them in their conference and having the success they've had already and giving them some national attention as well.
yeah. I'll say. I'm pretty sure when well, pull these guys up. Do we include Army on our easiest schedules of 2024 list? I thought I had it in a playlist already, but I thought I could have sworn we had one of the military schools, but uh, I know we actually had Notre Dame as one of the easier schedules in college football. Not that they're normally an easier schedule, but
It was the way the
because
home field, the home
yeah,
away
the way it
split.
was, and it ended up, I guess the military schools kind of bumped up that schedule a little bit, and but yeah, I mean, we actually look at Notre Dame's schedule
We kind
now.
of
A&M
nailed
going
it.
to 8, yeah, going 8-4, and then
USC, Florida
USC,
State,
yeah, it
Louisville's
ended
a
up
little bit of
it
down.
ended up being like way worse than we even thought we were. But whatever. This isn't a Notre Dame video. This is freaking Tulane Army American Championship video. Let's go.